Hello YouTube, this is Darkon633 and back with another Star Wars review. Today we're going to take a look at the Force Link 2.0 Solo, a Star Wars Story 2-pack which contains Lando Calrissian and the Kessel Guard. Now this is actually a pretty cool pack, and it's strangely the only way to get a Lando Calrissian into 3 3/4 inch scale as of this moment. And obviously it's the only way to get the Kessel Guard as well. So this is kind of a strange idea in my opinion for Hasbro to do, since Lando Calrissian is definitely an important character in the film. So for those who might not care for the Kessel Guard, you're going to end up getting it anyway. So we're just going to move on to the presentation and contest first and go on from there. To start off, we're going to take a look at the box first. The box is a little bit smaller, from what I could tell from the previous boxes. We have a picture of Lando Calrissian and the Kessel Guard there, and obviously have the bubble there. Shows that it is a part of the Force Link 2.0 line. On the side we got the same pictures. And on the back we have pretty much what you get for these particular releases, just promoting to use of the actual Force Link 2.0 gauntlet, which unfortunately, as of right now, still doesn't work that well unless you do the update, which apparently has recently been added for the app. Anyways, in terms of content, you obviously get the 2 figures. You also get a spear for the Kessel Guard and this entire gun turret unit, which is just pretty cool. We're going to get to what I have problems with that particular unit in a minute, but otherwise, in terms of presentation and content, I get to say 5 out of 5 because they're actually getting a lot out of the box. And now we're going to move on to features. Since it's a little bit more of the bland one of the two, we're going to take a look at the Kessel Guard first. So in terms of articulation, it is on the standard 5 POA design. The head is on a ball joint with not much hindrance. He does have swivels at the shoulders, and it does have the swivels at the hips, but unfortunately, even though the soft skirt-like piece in the front is definitely pliable, unfortunately does hinder the articulation quite a bit. And it is strange, since when you look at it from the back, it looks like it could have been one of those backwards designs, but that is pretty much how this particular character is designed, so that's very strange that they have the kind of less restricted part of the armor there and the more restricted part in front. But other than that, that's pretty much what you get. In terms of the spear can actually be plugged onto its back, so that's pretty interesting, since a lot of figures just don't have that particular gimmick. But unfortunately, it doesn't like to stay on that well on my particular copy, but it's still nice that there is an option. Now we're going to take a look at Lando Calrissian. In terms of articulation, it's exactly the same. We do have the ball joints on the neck there, swivel at the shoulders, and swivel at the hips. So it's still the standard 5 POA. He does include a removable soft plastic cloak, which for some reason Hasbro decided to design it with the ties as a part of the mold instead of being a separate mold, which technically it is a separate mold, but it's not a separate piece that goes around his neck, so that's a bit on the strange side. And underneath we do have a closer look at his yellow shirt underneath, which actually looks pretty cool. And in terms of overall design, I think this is a pretty good likeness of Donald Glover. It's definitely not perfect, but it's pretty close to what we get. And he does include a standard kind of blaster, which can be placed on this very interesting design holster here. Basically what you're going to do is make sure that the actual kind of scope piece doesn't get in the way. We're going to actually slide that over the unit here, and then from there you can actually plug in the end barrel of the gun into the other area there, and it actually stays on very snug. You're not actually going to have problems with this flying off anywhere, no matter how much you shake the figure. So it's nice that we have a new kind of way to actually hold the gun, even if it does look kind of strange. Both figures do maintain the Force Link chip at the bottom, so you do have that option. And that's pretty much it for the figures themselves. The other accessory, as mentioned earlier, is the gun turret. Now, while I really like the design of the gun turret, and it is articulated, it means the fact that the actual turret can spin 360, you do need to actually assemble this because each of the stand pieces are a separate piece that is inside the box, so you need to plug it in. And this wire piece is a bit articulated, but I think it's just from the way that the soft plastic is, rather than actually being kind of like a wire articulation there inside. And this is where I have a problem. Out of the box, it's definitely problematic, since this particular unit is quite warped from just out of the box, so when assembling this, it does cause it to flop all over the place. And when I was first plugging this together, it had a hard time actually staying upward. It did cause it to kind of loop left and right, and it doesn't like to stand up very well, so that is unfortunate. From what I could tell, I don't think there's any Force Link ability on this exact turret, for what I could tell. I don't see any of the actual chip designs on this turret, so I think it's just a plastic kind of standard weapon. You can't allow the Kessel Guard to actually use the turret, which for some reason, unfortunately, these handles don't like to stay on as well as I would like. It does stay on okay, but he has a tendency to kind of fall off the handles, which is unfortunate. But once you actually plug it in, it actually stays in very well, actually, otherwise, as long as you keep it on the table. When you start moving it is where he does have a hard time keeping on a grip to the handles themselves. But other than that, this is still a pretty neat set, regardless of the few gripes that I have with the set. So give it a 4 to 5 just because of the gun turret being very easily warped and a few other problems here and there. So in terms of overall value, I give this about a 5 out of 5 just because you are getting 2 exclusive figures, and at least, even though it does have a large accessory, it isn't actual something that is relevant to one of the characters in the set. So it's not like one of those stupid kind of shoulder gun gimmicks that we've got in a lot of the other multi-packs. So I appreciate that Hasbro decided to release it something that is relevant to the character, at least for what we can tell, since the film has not aired in theaters. So I don't really know if the Kessel Guard is going to really use this giant gun turret and so on, but it's pretty much a huge possibility. So that concludes our review for the Kessel Guard and Lando Calrissian. This is definitely a pretty neat set, and if you want to actually get a hold of Lando Calrissian, this is obviously an important set to get a hold of, since this is the only way to get him in the 3 3/4 scale. There is a Funko Pop which represents another outfit apparently Lando will have in the film, so maybe they'll be releasing that particular version on a single card or somewhere else, but as of right now, this is the only 3 3/4 Lando we've gotten, and he might actually be in the vintage collection as well, but I'm not really sure on that. I got this one at my local Target, and it's okay set for what it does, since it is still 2 pretty cool looking figures. Anyways, please comment, rate, subscribe, and check out Hero Club and Hirotaku. Also check out Twitter, Darkon633, and also on Instagram under Darkon633 as well. Please check down the other channels down below, and check the little bell at the bottom of the screen to see my content go up as soon as possible. And back with more Star Wars reviews, but for now, I'll be seeing you later, YouTube. Bye.